what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. Sorry, I had a little gulp there. I haven't had coffee this morning, Chris. I'm a little. I'm just going to give you fair warning. I'm a little off my game today because we're moving offices.
Yes.
We're kind of in different locations now. We've reconvened back in our studio to record, but I don't have my coffee maker with me, so I'm not out of sorts. So kind of give me a little break on any little stumbles I make here in the next hour of our conversation. So where was I? I'm Alan Jackson. With me is Chris Fry. Chris, yes. How are you doing?
So I myself am reeling from a realization that I watched last night The Goonies. I had not seen it. I don't know how. I have seen it before, but not probably since I reached double digits, if that's possible. Or
okay,
not a long time. I've realized that it's not very good.
Ooh, easy,
I know.
Chris. Easy.
In the context where I first viewed it, it's
Chris
like Indiana Jones for kids.
Chris will give you an email at the end of the show where you can write your hate mail to.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, I think, because you see Sean Astin before he was Samwise, and you see Josh Brolin, you see Joey Pantoliano, which I, of course, at the time when I saw the movie, had no clue who he was, and neither did anybody else. But yeah, just not.
This is not a way I expected our show to start.
Well, you had an admission of I'm off coffee for a little bit. Yeah.
We're bearing our souls right now, so I'm not doing good without my coffee, and you're bashing on Goonies.
If the nostalgia wasn't there, then I don't know, man. So that's my admission for the day.
There are some elements of the film that absolutely don't work for me, and there's some gaps in plot late in the film.
Oh my gosh,
that are pretty bad. No, I admit. Yeah. Did you know that there was
there's an octopus
scenes.
cut?
Yes.
Yeah, and I did this. The cut that I watched did not have that. I don't know if that would have helped it.
Well, I think it might have filled in some of the gaps on what exactly happened once they found the ship, because things kind of got a little chaotic and didn't really make sense. And
And here's the thing, like I imagine, and I've never actually watched interviews with Josh Brolin or with some of the other, like Sean Astin, talking about making, but all I can say is I think those kids probably had a blast making it, because it just looks like it was probably a lot of fun for them, because they were basically getting to be Indiana Jones. But it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess.
I'm not going to go that far.
An endearing mess, maybe.
It's an endearing mess. Let's go ahead and look at it. I still like it. That's fun. All right. Well, okay. Anything else we want to get off our chest while we're at it, or are we ready to get into the show?
No. Well, we can get to our main review.
Okay, let's do that then. This is Foot Candle Films. This is where Chris and I get together and talk movies, like we just did, as Chris just bashed the Goonies. That's what we do on the show, but mainly we focus it on movie reviews. We do have some movie news we like to sprinkle in, talk about some news coming up in the industry or films that are under development or underway. Sometimes we like to sprinkle in some trailers. Actually, more times than not, we like to play trailers. Yes, I know playing trailers on an audio podcast may seem weird and not very productive, but we at least play it. You can go watch the trailer on your own if you want to see it, but then we talk about what we see in the trailer and what it means for us and what we hope the film is going to be bringing to us. And occasionally, most often as well, Chris also has a recommendation for us of a film that he likes to share with us at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that for sure. But today, Chris, we have our primary main review, which is going to be the film Tron: Ares, because I'm now legally obligated. I have to read out the colon that is in any title because it's there for a reason. I mean, I'm still not quite sure what the colon's purposes are a lot of times in these film titles, but Tron: Ares is what we'll be reviewing.
They just didn't want to call it Tron 3, I think, essentially. So
I would have been
by
okay
doing
with
the
that.
colon that way, that's like,
I would have been okay with that. But anyway, I get it. I get where they're going with this. Okay. So we're going to be discussing and reviewing Tron Ares. Then, as I said, we've got a couple movie news items. I've got a trailer to play. Chris has got a recommendation. So lots to get through. Chris, are you ready for our main review?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, here we are. Tron: Ares.
Motorcyclist exceeding speeds of 120 miles per hour. Last seen heading northbound.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
Speaking of trailers, when we were talking in the beginning of the show, we discussed the trailer for Tron Ares, mentioned it looked great. I think we were both leery a little bit of Jared Leto's presence in the film, but we were curious. What we didn't explore was, at least I don't remember exploring, the director, Joaquin Ronning, whose previous work included Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales in 2017, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil in 2019. Ronning apparently isn't scared to tackle franchise sequels specifically for Disney. With Tron Ares 2025, he's tasked with taking the third entry in the franchise. Alan, how'd he do?
He did okay.
Okay.
Did
okay.
I'll go ahead and say it.
Sure.
I generally like this movie.
Okay.
I thought it was fun. I had a good time with this movie. I didn't have the highest expectations, and I went in and I thought it worked on certain levels, but it also failed miserably on other levels. But again, those other levels are ones that would make this a great film or good film. As it is a fine, passable piece of entertainment that I had an pretty good time with. I'll call out the things I think worked.
Sure.
And then we can dig into the
discuss some
stuff that
positives.
doesn't.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Jared Leto in the setup there.
Yes.
And yes, when we saw the trailer for this, I think you and I both have similar opinions of Mr. Leto's presence on films. Not the biggest fans and don't always think he quite matches the material. Here, I gotta say, I think this is the role Jared Leto should be playing. It kind of worked for me. I think it's a little bit of the fact that he does have a stigma around him personally, and him playing a computer generated character that's seeking for a higher purpose, a soul. I'm like, okay. Jared Leto, he can play this part. I think that works okay. So actually, I did kind of like his performance in this. Call it what it is, right. Whatever that performance is. I thought he was good. I like the concept of this film. I like the ideas that are glanced at in this film. The problem is this film gives me no reason to care about anything or anybody, which I think ultimately is what hurts the film and makes what could have been a much more profound movie and much, much more interesting movie. Instead, it just became a cookie cutter, paint by numbers action movie that did fine for that purpose.
Okay.
I mean, the concept, and I'm just going to say, there's this idea that there's the digital world, there's the real world. There's things that they've now figured out they can move from the digital world to recreate it in the real world. I'm like, okay, I'm buying this. It's kind of hokum magic sci-fi stuff, but I get it. I'm like, I bought into the concept. These creatures or these digital characters that come in the real world have like a lifespan. Mm-hmm. I thought, okay, cool concept. I like that too. I like a little race against the clock kind of concept. They have 29 minutes. So anytime they get brought in, it's like, all right, you got a timer starting. I like that concept. That works. That's good. You got this character that Jared Leto plays, Ares, who kind of for no reason all of a sudden decides he wants to be like a real thing or something. And that's where the film kind of
Pinocchio
loses me. It's like it never gave me a reason to understand why or what caused that. I think he has like a butterfly land on his hand or something at one point. I'm like, is that the moment? Is that it? He decided, no, I'm going to be a real guy now. Anyway, and that that idea to be what drives the whole rest of the movie's action, I'm like, okay, well, you kind of lost me on purpose. You kind of lost me on motive here. But at least the journey was kind of fun to watch along the way. So there are things I like. I do think this is a visually very appealing film. I think it looks really good. I think the action's done pretty well. I found myself generally interested in what was happening action-wise. There is a scene later in the film, and it's in the trailer. Unfortunately, I wish it hadn't been in the trailer, where it's a giant, a huge ship, like recreated, brought into the real world, like kind of crafting through the city. And I love the scale of it. I thought it just looked really cool. It was really awesome. It would have been great to be a surprise and not be spoiled by the trailer. But yeah, there's a lot of technical things that worked with the film. I think overall on the surface it works, but man, there's just so many opportunities for it to have been a good movie by exploring some of the things it wanted to explore and giving us some reason to care about the things it brought up. So with that, Chris, I'm going to shut up and let you go. Tell me your opinion of Tron Ares. Agree, disagree, or somewhere in the middle?
So I don't know if, it's trying to be a responsible podcast host. I don't always do this, but it helps with Tron. There were only 2 previous films. So I went back and watched the original Tron from 82 and then watched Tron Legacy from 2018. I think, no, when was it?
2015. No, 12?
No, actually it was
2012.
It was 2010 because we started the podcast in 2011. So it was right before we started reviewing, because I don't think we actually reviewed the original on the show.
Yep, 2010. You're right.
So the reason I say all that is because I remember watching the original in the theater. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And back then the effects were like, they were groundbreaking. I don't know if they won. I don't think they did win an Oscar, but I think there was it was a big deal. It was a big deal when the effects were there.
Sure.
And, me as a computer, I liked computers, thought they were awesome and in the early days. So yeah, I loved it. I remember when Tron Legacy came out, I was super interested in the film because I was like, okay, I hadn't rewatched Tron, didn't rewatch Tron before Tron Legacy, but I was like, okay, now the technology has caught up, obviously, and they're going to be able to do stuff that the original just couldn't even begin to do.
Sure.
And I thought, they're going to be able to kind of fulfill the promise of the original Tron idea. And I watched it, and I think at the time, because of expectations, which we often talk about, I was kind of let down, but I was like, well, it looked good, and I kind of forgot about it. Well, in rewatching it this time, I really thought it was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. And going into Tron Ares, maybe it unfairly set my expectations. But all that to say, I feel like, this film, if it would have progressed on what Legacy did, then it would have been interesting. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, I think it reminded me a lot of Westworld, the series, where the first 2 seasons were pretty good. They come into the real world. You're like, oh yeah, there's totally potential there. And it just kind of devolves and goes nowhere. Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of felt like here is like the Ares stuff. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. They're going to, we've always gone into the computer world. The computer stuff's going to come here. You're like, okay, got it. Seems like that could work really well. And it just really doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I don't fault Jared Leto. I don't fault any of the acting, actually. I think it was all, given with what they had to work with. Greta Lee, which she's wasted, but she's a really good actress. Yeah. And I think it just somehow, I don't know, I think maybe just so much time and energy spent on the look of the film, which I agree, great. I really like the soundtrack, Nine Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It seems like, yes, this was the type of thing they were always meant to do. Trent Reznor, he does a lot of soundtracks anyway, but specifically the band Nine Inch Nails that he's in doing this, totally makes sense. But yeah, it just didn't kind of deliver on anything. And so much so too, that there were some things that I didn't really understand why they really did. For instance, they've always thrown around discs. Like that's like one of their fighting tools. And for some reason in this one, they decide to give them triangles. I was like, okay, other than it just being like, kind of like a Star Wars thing where instead of a lightsaber, it's a double lightsaber. You're like, ooh. Well, but, that kind of eye candy maybe as a younger younger person would entertain me. And now I'm just like, okay, but what's the purpose behind that?
Well, I constantly felt like this film was battling between, do we want to be a completely standalone, you don't need to know anything about Tron. This is just we have an idea about a cool computer world where they're able to bring computer digital things into the real world and back and forth. Battling between, do we want to be standalone or do we really want to go all in on the Tron universe? And I kind of felt that battle happening a lot of times. I think the disc and some of the mechanics of how things work. Sometimes the film wanted to kind of be taken for granted. Like, oh, well, you know this, you, the viewer, you've seen Tron, you know how all this works. And then other times it's like, it's actively trying to avoid having any tie-in with the past. I mean, obviously there is one scene where Ares does travel to a different
version of the grid.
That is obviously, yes, it is all, we are all in Tron, original recipe, Tron world all the time. And, you know, I like that scene. I thought that sequence was fine. And, you know, it did bring back a character from the first one, which I was okay with.
See, here's the thing. And I think you get it. Jeff Bridges is known to be in this film. Yeah. He's known to be in the second film, you know, Legacy as well, because that came out in 2010. That to me was so groan worthy. The way it was like they felt by obligation, oh, we've got to put him in this. Yeah. And completely wasted, not really like interesting. Whereas how they integrated him into Legacy, it worked for me. There was a reason he was there. It made a lot more sense. This was like, well, we got to have him in here, so we'll just kind of stick him in here last third of the film. And yeah, I mean, the idea of going back to like the grid, yeah, that was cool. But then ultimately, it just kind of landed flat.
Here's where everything's for me is. I think the idea is great. I think the concept of it is great. Okay, let's send Ares into the original Tron world, and he has to retrieve something. I don't know what. And let's have him encounter Flynn. You know, the Jeff Bridges character.
Right.
Concept wise is cool, but at the end of the day, I left that scene. It's like, okay, why did any of that matter? Like, I don't, and that's my biggest question with any of this.
Right.
Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim. I don't understand her. I don't understand her character. I don't understand quite her motivations on anything. Like, she's a big CEO, but yet she's also kind of down in the trenches doing some work up in Antarctica or something.
Right.
And then there's the whole sister thing that she lost her sister. It's like, it just was piling on little details that never really gave you a full picture of who she is. So I'd never really cared about her because I didn't really know her. And Evan Peters, Julian Dillinger is another case where, man, he's a good actor. And it's like, yeah, if he's playing the villain role in this, you know, great, go for it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I still don't know who this guy is. I don't know his deal. He's
saddled with a mother who's Gillian Anderson, also a very capable actress.
No sense.
Doesn't make any sense. And Dillinger was a character in the original Tron. Like, right. there is basis there.
So they're basing it there. It's a legacy thing, but it's like, why have Gillian Anderson in this film? It's like, that makes no sense.
And she's completely misused, and you're like, I don't understand. And
there's just a one plot point that, you know, I think she was used for. I think that was the whole thing that when they wrote this, they're like, well, we got to have this one moment where, you know, Julian has to like kind of face some hardships, whatever. So let's do this. I'm like, yeah, it's so telegraphed. It's like, once it happens, it's like, okay, so that was the only reason she exists in this film.
Right.
Again, it's all a question of why. Why do I care about these things? And the biggest thing I'll come back to is Jared Leto's Ares. Again, I like this idea of a digital creation trying to become sentient, trying to become self-aware.
Right.
But it's done so lazily here. It's like, all right, he shows up in the real world, and after a few minutes, he's like, okay, now there's like a little soft bit of music at one point, and you see expression on his face, like, oh, now he's wanting to be a real person. And it's like, I don't know why, but here we go. So now this is his path. And so he's going to take this path. We get to the end of the film, and I'm still not quite sure what his motivation is, like what's his purpose, what's he doing. So again, I just don't know the whys of it all. Made it not work as a whole, as a film to make it a great film.
And what killed it even more for me in the end, which is why I rate this, definitely below Tron Legacy, and I like that film much better, is that, Tron Legacy, it was a sequel, but when it ends, it just kind of ends. It's like, okay, this film, clearly, they didn't just do one, like, wink, wink, here's what could happen in the next Tron movie that we're definitely going to make if this thing makes money. They gave two of those. One is from the Jared Leto character. He kind of shows something, you're like, okay. And then you actually see the Julian Dillinger character, played by Evan Peters. You see him have this moment, and you're like, okay. It's just so straining to be like, hey, guys, don't stay enthusiastic. We're going to make another one of these. It's just like, no, I don't feel like you've earned it. So...
again, I'm coming out a little more positive on the film than you are because I generally had a good time with it. And would I like to see another Tron based movie? Sure. Yeah. Let's keep pumping them out. This is a franchise I think could only get better if handled with better hands crafting it, because again, you've just got so much to work with in this space. I kind of like the idea of Ares being a character that's like a side character in the Tron universe. And, you could do something with him down the road. I'm fine with that. It's just, you just ultimately have to give us a reason to care and be interested in these characters and people and these things, and not just be wowed over by the technology and wowed over by the visuals. So I think that's what the film misses. But again, on the visuals and on the spectacle side, it did look and feel really good and sound really good.
I think if they could make a fourth installment, don't add any new characters, maybe, like you're saying, have Jared Leto's character Ares be a side character, still be in the film, return to some of the characters from Legacy, which is kind of what some of the end things hint to, then I think there's a chance. Because I agree, I think, and that's what I was hoping this film would be. It's like, okay, you've got the technology, now you're going to branch out, and like it would be a good next step, an evolution of the ideas. And instead it just kind of seemed to be a greatest hits of the first two films.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing because I expected like something to move forward. But you're right. Maybe that's what with the fourth film could happen. So
maybe they'll not wait 15 years to do a fourth one. I mean, again, I'm actually kind of, it's weird. I'm actually kind of rooting for this franchise. Maybe because of the fact that they've done two sequels that have been like over 10 years apart from each other, like really spaced out. I mean, we're talking, there was 28 years between the first two.
Right.
And now there's been 15 years between the second two.
So I think, and see, that's the thing, is taking time like that. You're like, okay, they've really got something that they're going for here. And I was like, well, no, not really. I feel like in the second film, yes, but in this one, they kind of faltered a little bit. Yeah. So but there's still, I agree, there is potential there.
There's still good potential. I think it just needs to be a little more care and craft need to be given to the whys and the making us care and feel anything for anything going on the screen. I think that's, to me, that's the biggest thing missing in this film. I think they got the visuals down pat. I think they got the direction down pat. It's like, great. Yeah, it checks all those boxes. It's just, give me a reason to care and understand why people are doing what they're doing. That's who are these characters? What's driving them? What's motivating them? And what does it all mean at the end of the day? And that's what's missing really bad. So
sure.
All right. Well, got anything else to say? I mean, I think I've covered it. You mentioned the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack. I think it is really good. It gives it a good feel. I think it works for the film.
I think in a way, I will say, and there again, because I just rewatched Tron Legacy and they use Daft Punk, which also seems very like, Tron is a perfect marriage. I will say, in a way, I actually think the Daft Punk score was better because
I do too.
It doesn't have to go, or it doesn't go dark. And I think that's Nine Inch Nails, like they do dark really well. And with a Disney film that's not R-rated, you're only going to go so like menacing and dark. And so I liked it. I thought it was good, but I think Daft Punk was a little better fit because it's a Disney film, I guess is my point. So like, it was a little bit better fit, but I still thought Nine Inch Nails' score was
the Daft Punk definitely leaned into future. Like it was kind of a, music for the future type of thing where Nine Inch Nails is a bit throwback.
True.
And that was a bit of at odds with a movie that is very much trying to move forward on things. Yeah, I agree. I like the music, but I did think the Daft Punk soundtrack and Legacy was better fit for the film. So, but still good. I mean, again, I'm still coming out positive on the film. I had a good time. I thought it was worth watching, if nothing else, just for kind of the spectacle and the visuals and some of the bigger ideas that are at least glanced at, even though they're not discussed in any detail. But yeah, kind of a missed opportunity from being good film to this was good. It needed that further development.
The visuals are where, that's what kind of kept me engaged, just because it does look great. To see it in a theater on the big screen, it was neat.
All right. Well, that is Tron: Ares. I always make a little comment about box office performance, and it's not doing good. So it had a rough opening weekend. Well, it already had low expectations going in. There were not high expectations set for this movie at all. And supposedly it did not even meet those low expectations. So but it's also coming out in like some of the slowest time of the year. So
True.
So it missed the summer season. It's not quite early enough or late enough for a holiday season release. So
it's not a horror movie, which around this time of year, that's.
Yeah. So it's kind of that, it's not doing great. So I think it should be performing better than it is based on it, but I'm also not expecting it to be a blockbuster because of the reason we talked about. So, all right. Well, that will wrap us up there. Let's get ready. And before we do, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will have some news to discuss. We'll have a trailer to play, and we'll get to Chris's recommendation at the end of the show. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our review of Tron: Ares at the beginning of the show.
Colon.
Oh, I forgot the colon. Tron: Ares. Thank you. I came out generally positive, but feeling like there's a lot of missed opportunities and things that did not go as they should have. Chris was a bit more on the negative side, but I think also because you revisited the other Tron movies and you kind of had your standards.
Doing my homework did not pay off because
Yes.
it hurt the film probably. Yeah.
That should be the philosophy in general, but doing homework never pays off. So just go into it, man. No background, no work. Just enjoy it for what it is. Anyway, that's where we ended up on Tron: Ares. Chris, I got a couple of news items before I get to a trailer I want to play.
Okay.
These are both really quick ones, but just interesting projects I wanted to bring to your attention.
Sure.
Quentin Tarantino.
Heard of it.
We're fans.
Yeah.
I like his work. What is your favorite Quentin Tarantino film? Like one film. Just tell me which one. Twisting your arm, telling you, give me a film.
It's hard to say. I know what my least favorite. No, that would be Four Rooms. It's either Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I think I'd have to literally like do a chart and say, okay, I like that scene. I like this scene.
Yeah.
And like kind of have it stack up like which one, that's, I guess, how I'd have to do it.
Well, I'm also with you on Inglourious Bastards. That is my favorite. But a very close second is a Kill Bill Volume 1. Now, I was a little lesser on Volume 2, but I still liked both of them together.
Yeah. I like those quite a bit.
Okay. So when those came out, there was all this hubbub about Quentin Tarantino saying that they were meant to be one film, but ended up breaking them into two films. So that's why you had a volume 1, you had a volume 2.
Right.
And he had always said he wants to release them as one film. Like that's his whole plan. Well, it's been, I don't know how many years, but it's happening. On
So it's
December
gonna be
5th.
how long?
December 5th. This is going to be a, let's see how long. I don't know the minutes. Like close to 4 hours. Wow. 4 hours plus epic. It's going to be titled Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. Okay. So December 5th, it is actually being released in some theaters for that purpose. 4 hour plus epic combines Kill Bill's volume 1 and 2.
They're going to have an intermission like The Brutalist did?
I don't know. Didn't say anything about it. It says there's some extra goodies in store, including a never before seen 7.5 minute animated sequence that would be added to the films. That would be new.
They did have animation in, I can't remember which part 1 or part 2, but okay.
A whole new 7.5 minute sequence.
Okay.
Some screens are going to be in 70 millimeter and 35 millimeter film projection, which would be cool. Let's see. And there was something else. So some editing is going to be happening in the films, in that the cliffhanger ending from volume 1 and the recap at the beginning of volume 2 have both been removed. So in other words, it's just, it's not just slapping the two movies together.
Right.
It's like doing a little re-editing to where you don't have a cliffhanger at the end of 1 and you don't have this whole recap section at the beginning of number 2.
You don't need it.
You don't need them.
Right.
But adding in 7.5 minutes new animated sequence. So yeah, it's still going to be a long movie experience.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I think it's cool that, people can experience it that way if you're so inclined.
Yeah, I would. I don't know if I've seen both parts recently, but I feel like I've definitely seen part 1 somewhat recently. I'd be interested in doing it, but I would need an intermission because that's a long time, and I'm
4
sure it'll
hours
probably
is
go
tough.
pretty fast still. But yikes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything in the news article about intermission, but it may be something coming. We'll have to wait and see. And I don't know how wide a release it's getting nationwide.
Sure.
It says it's going nationwide, but I mean, honestly, there's only a few theaters that would probably try to pick it up
Because
and
it's
run
like
it.
an endurance test. I mean, I could say, I'll just wait until, I think Netflix has picked up a lot of his stuff. Like, they did an extended version of The Hateful Eight, or they actually let Tarantino broke it up into like episodes, and they had The Hateful Eight where you could watch it like in episodes. So I would say, I'll just watch it, when it comes out as one whole thing on the streaming. But that kind of kills it. I kind of want to see it revisit on the big screen, but I just don't know if I can do it all in one shot.
Yeah.
But
We will see if we ever get a chance to, if it comes anywhere near us, or if we have that decision to make when given that opportunity.
So
We'll
you're
see.
thinking it's probably going to be one of those things where it's there for like a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see this being a big release effort at all. So,
Right.
Yeah. All right. So that is Kill Bill. And other news, also in the throwback to older film projects and doing something new with it. The Ocean's 11 franchise. There were 3 of those movies, plus a 4th one, which was like the female one, right?
Right. I think that's correct.
There's Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13. Then Ocean's 8?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there have been 4 total films in the Oceans.
And 3 of
universe.
them were Soderbergh, and then the 4th one was.
I don't know who
can't remember
did.
that
I
one.
don't know who did.
But I know
who
it's
did that
showing, and I
one.
think I've actually seen all 4 of them. But yeah,
Hold on, I'm going to find out right now.
sure. Yeah, and somebody. Oh, and I remember the news item that you're probably going to say. Margot Robbie has decided to do something with the franchise.
Yeah, well, Gary Ross was the director
Okay.
of Ocean's 8, which was the all female driven
Got you.
version. So George Clooney has announced that Ocean's 14 will start filming this coming year.
Okay.
They are making a Ocean's 14. Some good and bad news with this, Chris.
Okay.
Good news. It is a lot of the same cast are joining back on board. Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Don Cheadle. They are all signed on. They're ready to go. So that's good. Some bad news. Soderbergh will not be directing it.
Right. Is Margot Robbie involved?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, well, not that I'm seeing anything.
Okay.
Well, oh no, I'm sorry. There is another Ocean's prequel starring Margot Robbie.
Okay. Got you. Okay.
That also with Ryan Reynolds, I think.
Huh.
That is moving forward, and they're talking right now. Lee Isaac Chung is in talks to direct that prequel. He was, he did Twisters, but he did a good film before that.
That's Minari.
Minari. There you go. He did.
So 2 films are actually in
Yeah,
development.
that's a prequel.
Okay, yeah.
That's a prequel. That's not the one I was doing the news on.
Right.
Yeah, but Ocean's 14 is
Right.
a sequel. It is George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts. The person that will be directing Ocean's 14 is David Leitch, who was Bullet Train, The Fall Guy. And I think he did maybe one, or he was like an assistant director or stunts director on John Wick films.
Right. Huh.
That's where I'm a little, we'll see. Don't know. I mean, I know you like The Fall Guy better than I did, and I've come to appreciate it a bit more after seeing it a second time.
Okay.
But I don't think he's a great director. So that's a little concerning. But, if you got Clooney, you got Julia Roberts, you got Brad Pitt all coming back. I mean, you got to have the charisma from those characters. And if all that team is coming back, that could be kind of fun. There's talks, I think that, Clooney was saying in an interview that he teased it. The idea is kind of like that movie Going in Style, which was like about a trio of senior citizens who pull off their own heist. It was like a Martin Brest film.
Okay.
I remember it vaguely. It wasn't like a big hit or anything, but he said it's got a little bit of that kind of vibe where it's like, yeah, these people are getting older.
Right.
So it's kind of joking about, trying to pull off this kind of caper, but being much older than they were last time.
Right. And maybe there's like comedy and kind of the bumbling that goes on instead of them being sleek and like,
could be
like sophisticated. It's kind of like, oh wait. And like stuff is falling.
Yeah.
So,
and Clooney did an interview with Vanity Fair about this. He kind of commented, he said, I'm now the guy that when I go running after a bad guy, it's more funny than it is suspenseful. I was like,
got you.
So he gets it. So I think that they have to play into that a little bit in the film, realizing that.
Well, and something that I was curious about, which neither one of us, I believe, saw, there was potential there. Definitely, the preview made it look funny, and then it was kind of released and then went away. But maybe as a fun movie to watch over the holidays, because I think it actually came out in 2025. Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and kind of had that. They were like competing assassins or like hitmen or fixers, I think it was. Yeah. And like, the banter back and forth, you're like, yeah, that's kind of like an Ocean's movie that's not an Ocean's movie. So yeah, I'd be up for it. I never did see that one, but they're going to do something within that world again. Yeah, could be fun.
But it sounds like there's going to be, 2 projects coming out of the Oceans franchise.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm curious about both.
Yeah.
So interested to see what happens there. So it's still going to probably be a ways off. They're still, still working on planning everything, but filming, they said, probably won't be for a few more months. So it'll be a while, but we'll see what happens. All right. That's the Oceans movies.
Gotcha.
Getting some new life in a couple different directions there. All right. Last thing I was going to bring up was a trailer.
Okay.
I think we've mentioned this film in passing, I think, or maybe I just have talked about it personally, not in front of a microphone. I don't recall.
Okay.
But the trailer came out just recently. This is a film that comes out November 7th. And I'm kind of just wondering, like, wow, I hadn't seen a trailer for this until just now this past week, unless there was something I missed earlier on. But anyway, this is for the film Die, My Love, which is the new Lynn Ramsey film starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. The idea is a young mother who's unfulfilled professionally and unsatisfied in her marriage is clawing at, she's going through some things, kind of a modern day dissatisfied housewife performance for Jennifer Lawrence. And reading about it, I haven't watched the trailer yet. We're going to watch it together.
I saw it in front of something.
Okay.
I think maybe in front of The Long Walk when I went and saw it in the theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks Interesting.
All right.
So-
well, I have not got to see it yet. Reading about it, it sounds like there's a lot of interesting similarities to a recent Amy Adams film that maybe we'll talk about in a minute. But anyway, let's check out the trailer for Die My Love. Let me make sure I've got the right link for it. I think I do. Yeah, there it is.
She don't like her eggs all runny. She looks down her nose at money. She gets it on like the Easter bunny. She's my baby, I'm his honey. I'm never gonna let her go.
Cheryl mentioned that you're a writer.
I don't do that anymore.
Stuck for inspiration?
I'm stuck between wanting to do something and not wanting to do anything at all. Where are you now?
Is everything all right?
All right. That is the trailer for Die My Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey, produced by a Mr. Martin Scorsese.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly I read Scorsese actually sought out Lynn Ramsey to want to direct this film.
Interesting.
Felt it was a film that needed to be made. He was excited about it and supposedly reached out to her directly to kind of encourage her to take it on and do it. So with that, Chris, it was interesting when I read the little synopsis in Variety before. It talked about almost like an animalistic development for Jennifer Lawrence's character, which I thought sounded kind of interesting and kind of dealing with whether it was, didn't know if it was postpartum type of thing. Anyway, I don't know. So I just thought it sounded a lot like Night Bitch, a little bit, the film we saw with Amy Adams.
Sure.
But this obviously seems to be a film that's taking a little bit more of a darker, deeper tone and direction as well. So anyway, your thoughts on the trailer that you saw?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it has echoes maybe of Night Bitch. And I can see why Scorsese was like, yeah, this seems like a really good script. If he'd had the script and he was like, but I think it needs to come from a woman's perspective, which I would agree because the central character is a woman and having a woman direct it seems natural. And Lynn Ramsey, I think the only film of hers that I've seen is You Were Never Really Here, which I don't know if have you seen that one with Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah, very dark. So her handling some darker subject material seems like, yeah, that makes sense. And Lawrence and Pattinson, kind of an interesting match, but I think it looks like it's going to work really well. Curious to see. And actually it was interesting because one of the things, this being an audio podcast, you didn't see it, but title comes up on the screen that somehow this has a link back to The Substance. I think maybe
One of the producers, yeah.
But, woman struggling, but then is the reality some of the things that's happening? Kind of like with Night Bitch as well. It seems like a Night Bitch combination with Substance kind of, lots of stuff going on there. So
I agree.
We shall see. Yeah.
No, I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm excited. Looks good. Looks really good. So I hope that is the case.
One question for you. What Jennifer Lawrence, it said just Oscar winner. Off the top of my head, was that Winter's Bone that she won for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she won for Winter's Bone. I don't think she's won anything else since then.
Right, yeah, but Oscar winner said that was Winter's Bone. Okay, because that was early in her career as well. So Winter's Bone.
I think that's right. Hold on just a second. Let me find out for sure.
I mean, obviously she's in the Hunger Games stuff. She's been in some what's that guy's name? The films with Christian Bale and American Hustle, and she was in the one Joy, David O. Russell.
David O. Russell,
yeah. So she's been in some of his stuff, but and she was in, she's been in a lot of stuff, but I think Winter's Bone, which was a more of an independent film.
Oh.
So
no, she was a nominee for Winter's Bone.
Just nominee though.
But she won for Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, of course. That's another David O. Russell.
Yes.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. She was nominated. She's been nominated for Academy Awards 4 times and won once.
Okay.
Yeah. Winter's Bone, Silver Linings Playbook she won for. American Hustle, she was nominated, and Joy, she was nominated. So three David O. Russell films that she was nominated for.
Okay.
In her work in. All right. Yeah. No, excited. November 7th. So it's only like 3 weeks away. So that's kind of cool too. So
I'm guessing it'll probably be a somewhat limited release.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
so.
Lynn Ramsey has had a like wide release. I don't think.
Yeah.
With her films.
Well, and it's also the Mubi trailer logo was at the beginning. Mubi, the online movie service. That's the one that released The Substance.
Right.
The Substance went to theaters, but then went to Mubi like really quickly available.
It was exclusive there for a while.
Yes. I don't know if they're going to be going a similar route here where it's going to be movie theaters, but then it'll be on Mubi like really quickly after that. So
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is the news and trailer I had to share with us today, Chris. So I have fulfilled my duties. I am done with my part of the show. I'm now going to turn over to you for the last part of the show, which is our recommendation. This is where Chris likes to give us a recommendation of a film that he checked out recently or revisited, or just maybe he's just lying awake at night and it just pops into his head. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a film I need to recommend. Whatever the reason, Chris, what do you have to recommend to us today for a film we could check out?
This is a film from 2025. I'm going to read the plot description. Plagued by a violent recurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. What is this? Well, this is Final Destination Bloodlines. So it is the sixth, I think it's the sixth entry in the Final Destination franchise. It's a horror franchise, done really well. I obviously I'm recommending it. I had never seen a Final Destination film. I saw this pop up on HBO Max. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch it. It came out this year. It's scary season. We're in October. I'm going to watch it. I had fun with it. I think if I had seen the other 5 installments, probably wouldn't have been as interested in it, because I take the whole thing, Final Destination, is, a group of people somehow start having getting killed. And then it's like, how are they going to die? And so that's the whole thing of the whole movie is, how are these people? Death is after them. What's going to happen to them? So over the course of 5 films, I imagine you get pretty bored with that idea, but I'd never seen it on film before. So I came to this film just loosely knowing okay, this is what's happening. I don't know if any of these characters have been referenced in any other films. Don't know. Don't care. This is a complete standalone. Yeah. Okay. But what was interesting to me is how it jumps in time. It starts out, I think, in the 1940s or 50s. So it started out as kind of like a period type, but then comes forward to modern day. And they keep it, they kind of realize the ridiculousness of, okay, somehow these people are all going to die, and the ways in which they die are kind of really contrived. And they do teases where you're like, oh, I see a sledgehammer that's leaning up against a wall. I bet that's going to fall over and knock somebody in the head and kill them or something. So they kind of tease certain things. But if you go in, if you don't mind watching, yes, there is some elements of gore, but it's done in a very cartoonish way.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you want kind of a scary movie it kind of plays along with you and is winking the whole time, I had a decent time.
All right.
So that's Final Destination Bloodlines. It's streaming on HBO Max. It's interesting. So I don't know that I would be the first in the theater to see the 7th installment, which this one actually did really well, I think, in theaters.
Yeah, it did.
And I think it was another reason too. I'd never seen them, and I saw some movie critics online say, this is probably the best of the franchise so far, which again, we're talking about franchises on this podcast. We've mentioned Tron. So this was the 6th version of this. And it was like, yeah, wasn't that bad. So, Final Destination Bloodlines. If you're looking for a spooky or horror movie or something that's just also kind of a good time. There's violence and stuff, so not for the children, but HBO Max, Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the recommendation. I will still not be seeing it. It's just not my thing.
I mean, and it does have some there's kind of a little bit of a lot body horror type stuff,
which I'm
not a fan. So
that being the premise of the film is how. Right. Yeah, it's just not for me. Right. So I haven't seen any of the other ones. I've read good things about this one. This one, got good reviews and did make a lot of money for it. It's just not for me. So. appreciate you taking one for the team and watching it and giving the recommendation here, though. So
Sure.
all right. But you said that's on HBO Max now?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that is Chris's recommendation of Final Destination Bloodlines. And that wraps up our show for today. Our review of Tron Ares, our discussion of upcoming projects in the Oceans universe, as well as the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair was discussed. And then, of course, we had the trailer for Die My Love to discuss as well. So, Chris, if anybody has any comments on anything we discussed or follow-up or questions, how can they get a hold of us?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can also leave us a voicemail via the contact page on the mesh.tv website. Follow us on Facebook, Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter, Foot Candle Films, how we're recognized there. Al and I are also on Letterboxd, where we attempt to track what we're seeing and leave quick takes. Do us a favor, if you like the show, consider giving us a star rating, write a review, or share with friends at whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on, because it'll help us reach new listeners, and we would appreciate that.
All right. Well, that will do it for today. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Foot Candle Films, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.